time of sunrise extra on a Tuesday. Yes, we are talking about flying and travel and COVID, and now that so many people are able to get the vaccine, already have it, or in the near future are able to get it, should we all have a standardized, universal document or app that shows maybe your COVID test results, that you got a negative test, or your vaccine status? You know, are you fully vaccinated? Do you have one of the shots? Are you legitimately allergic to it or can't take it or whatever? So the airline industry is really pushing hard with the World Health Organization and the United Nations for this. And they say it is going to be way too hard if there's different papers or cards or apps for different regions. And they just want to make it like one standard thing that is government verified to show that either, you know, like your name is attached to a negative test or a vaccination before you get on board. And they're saying we need something like this to really get travel up and going again, because we're still at about 60% down in the airline industry from 2019, which was the last full year of regular travel. So there's, of course, patient privacy concerns. There's personal data concerns with an app having health information about you, or, you know, your name, and I don't know if your social security number would be attached to it. We don't know what it would look like. But what do you guys think, viewers?
It's meant to expedite getting back to normal, right?
That's
putting
the
people's
idea,
fears aside a little bit.
I thought it was interesting that the World Health Organization even said, hold up for just a minute, because more research needs to be done into whether the vaccines actually stop the spread of COVID. The vaccines will protect you, but we don't know exactly if having the vaccine will keep you from spreading it to other people. So that's from the WHO. So I thought that was kind of an interesting take. The other thing, and I want to give her credit because I just found this article online from CNBC. There's an author named Karen Gilchrist, and one of the experts that she interviewed brought up the whole equity issue, and said basically these health passports are based on a system of inequitable global access to vaccines and technology. And the WHO says there are like 3.6 billion people who don't have access to the internet, and then there's another like 1 billion plus that can't actually, with documentation, paper documentation, prove who they are, or digital documentation. And so they need that paper documentation instead of, like, you know, a digital wallet kind of thing.
This would be, I suppose, for international travel, because you're not required now to, obviously, to fly within the United States. You don't need to prove whether you've been vaccinated to this point or not. But
I think have to have a negative test, or is that only for certain, like to Hawaii or something? I know for Hawaii you need a negative test.
WHO was also saying basically that this will not just be a health passport kind of thing. It's up to other countries, because not every country is going to let everybody in. So you could have your vaccine passport and still not be able to travel everywhere internationally, depending on what the individual countries want to do.
Yeah, that's the question, I guess, and it gets down to also a comfort level, right? We've been talking for a year now, almost a year, when we start bringing up conversations about when do you feel like things will be back to normal, or when will you be comfortable doing things like going inside of a restaurant to eat or flying on an airplane. And so even as vaccination numbers continue to climb and the percentage of the population continues to grow in terms of who has been vaccinated, the question still remains, will you be comfortable getting on the plane if you're not sure of who else on that plane has been vaccinated or not?
Well, it's quite a mixed bag coming in early. I want to say my eyeball test says it's 50-50 supporting some sort of validation that you have with you.
You mean talking about our Facebook followers,
yeah,
right?
versus not on Facebook. Mark Jones says no. I assume he says means he doesn't want to have some sort of verification card with him. Paul Curtis says doesn't like it either. Misty, no. I'm pointing out all the no's, but it's about 50-50. On my feed that I'm looking at right now, guys.
Stephanie Norgard has an interesting comment. She says, what the hell is this? I passed on getting the vaccine for now. My job offered it to me weeks ago, and I signed a form that declined the vaccine. I'm not a guinea pig, so she is against it. Christy Shirk says, if they give you a card, I would think that would work. Or Stanford Walker. We have a new picture on there, Stanford.
Does it?
A vaccination card tied with your passport.
Where's Stanford?
Other people giving that a thumbs up.
Yeah, we're all looking for the pictures.
Stanford
Because
looks
at the very
young.
top, I saw the very
I see
first
it.
one.
It looks very young in that picture.
Did you
Yes.
read Fawn Johnson's?
No.
Okay, she says, if you're going to mandate this vaccine for travel, what's next? My answer is no. A vaccine passport should not be mandated. Yeah, I can't even get my own child's medical records after they turn a certain age. I don't need to share my medical information of any sort with TSA or anyone else for that matter.
Agree or disagree with Fawn Johnson? She often will chime in on Sunrise Extra with some very thoughtful words. So thank you, Fawn, for chiming in this morning.
I like your name too. That's really cool.
Renee Robertson is our viewer from Panama. Well, she's from here originally, but she's been living in Panama now for the better part of the last year. She says, just to clarify, she says flying to the United States from another country is when you have to have a negative test within 48 hours of your travel.
Jake Moe says, I think this would be a great idea. And then Robert Coleman says, that is crazy.
Yeah. Willie Huey, why don't we just get a government-mandated tattoo after you have your shots? Seems pretty simple. And of course, then the debate would be, where should that tattoo be?
Oh, that's further in the future when we all turn into robots, I'm sure. Yes.
I'm looking at Jamila, who says, bet you that they won't read my comment. Well, this is the only comment from you that I see. So
Read it.
I am reading it. This is it. Bet you they won't read my comment. I don't see an earlier one.
Yeah, I don't either.
So if that's the comment, we read
It
it.
would be pretty, I mean, like this would be the first ever in history, right? Of like some kind of nickel. I mean, I imagine back in the days of polio or.
No, they've had
You
it
had to
before.
have some kind of paper, right?
It's not
to get on a
digital.
train.
Yeah, there were several, and now I'm blanking on what they are, but it is not unprecedented.
Okay.
Let me see if
Back
I
in
can
the days of
call it
play.
up.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, in our days of, privacy and
Renee's
that
been
kind of
in
stuff.
Renee's been in Panama for 10 and a half years.
Yeah, I had my facts wrong on
10 and a half
Renee's
years. Wow. All right.
time in Panama. Sorry, Renee. 10 and a half years Renee Robertson has been living in Panama.
So
I was just excited to wake up yesterday morning because that's when I first saw the article about the CDC guidelines. People who are vaccinated and what they can do,
I was just gonna get to that. Yeah,
and
go
that
ahead.
you can get together with other people who are fully vaccinated inside without a mask, and that really does open up so many things for people and families who haven't been able to get together. My heart got a little flutter. I was like, yes.
I immediately forwarded that article to my wife yesterday morning when I got to work because her mom has taken this very seriously as she should, but she has been vaccinated. It hasn't quite been 2 weeks since her second dose. I don't know if she got Pfizer or Moderna. The Moderna. Either way, she is close to that 2 week period where she is considered fully vaccinated, and she has not come into our house for more than 10 minutes at a time in the past year. And every time she's been in the house for 10 minutes or less, she's had the mask on, doesn't want to get near our kids. So hopefully she will be feeling the confidence to re-enter our house now without a mask and hang out.
Nina, just to follow up, that article said that health passports, not unprecedented. For decades, people have had to show what they call yellow cards. So that's proof of vaccination against diseases like cholera, yellow fever, and rubella when traveling to certain countries.
to certain countries.
To certain countries.
And I mean, I know like when we went to Thailand, you had to have a, I forgot what it is.
Yeah.
Malaria.
Okay.
You had to have a malaria vaccination. I can't remember if it was required or like, you just needed a malaria vaccination in order to safely go there.
When I went to China, it was part of a group thing, right? And the group thing did require a whole fistful of shots to participate, which I, willingly went in and got. But
Yeah.
Is anybody worried about if you do have a health passport and it's through an app that your information would be out there? I mean, basically they were saying they also need to make sure that the information is linked to a verified medical facility. Because, it seems like scammers, it doesn't matter what it is, people find a way to hack into it and change it up. And so there's always a new wrinkle to.
But it's interesting, so my mom's gotten the shot and my husband's gotten the shot, and my mom went to the convention center and got it. And it's not linked to, I mean, her doctor is at OHSU, but on the paper, that she has, it's like her name and the date she got it and what the shot was, is the Pfizer one. And like, it's not, you know what I mean? And that convention center site is Legacy and Kaiser and OHSU and all that stuff. So it's interesting. I mean, I guess like different people are getting them different places, but I wonder, are they really tied to a certain medical group? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that, after I said that, I'm like, privacy in the digital age.
Right.
I mean, our information, if we do anything online, is out there, and way too much of it, like, the horse is out of the barn, as my mom liked to say back in the day.
Yeah, if you got one of these, like, it's all gone anyways.
I don't say you should or you shouldn't, but I can tell you that I've stopped being concerned about that. But I just assume that, everything I'm saying and doing is being heard and seen and watched, and I hope that sometimes, people aren't paying that close of attention. But the privacy thing, I mean, I think you can, like, spend your entire life trying to avoid being seen or heard, and it's mission impossible now.
I don't care about seen or heard. I'm more about scared about someone draining your bank account or something like that. Like medical information. Like if someone gets my file and they see my doctor's, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not too worried about that. I'm more worried about like your social security number, getting credit cards in your name. And then,
let me ask you this: would you
stuff.
ever, if your husband said, "Hey, I'm filling out this form for this or that. I need your social security number," would you ever text that number to him?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, so have I. But my wife will not allow me to text her. She says, "Hey, I need your social security number," and I'm like, "Okay, no, don't text it to me. Call me."
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
And you're in Mia's camp, Brenda?
100%.
Hey, I want to read, Jamila commented several times. Jamila, am I saying that right? Do you think
I'd say Jamila.
Okay. Anyway, not a fan of this. I think in her comments you can kind of conclude that she thinks this is all about government control and is not a fan of broadcasters passing on the itinerary. Anyway.
Oh, yes, I see what she says. They're following the script. I promise you, this is not scripted.
This is very
Hopefully my stammering and my stumbling will prove to you that we are not scripted here.
Yeah. Exactly. Let's see. On YouTube, checking in with all our friends on YouTube. Courtney Willingham, one of our loyal YouTube viewers, she says, I prefer train travel versus planes. They all have different views. I wish the best to all. If I was meant to fly, I would grow wings.
That would be great, though, wouldn't it?
Joshua Madrid, hey, good morning to you. He wants to lean in on something that I said a little bit earlier about the inequalities of proving identification around the world. And he said this would create a disparity on who could travel and who could not. I think this sounds great on the surface, but one can't help but feel that there are numerous unintended consequences that would sprout up upon implementation.
So I think the question more is not, should countries require a vaccination to fly? That's not what we're asking. It's should there be a standardized document or app? So,
like your passport now.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that poor airline workers and TSA workers, who are swamped already, just can recognize like one card and really look at, the fakes and legitimacies of that versus, 100 different kinds.
Yeah.
True, Jeff Lucas.
Yes.
He says, do not text passwords or social security numbers.
No.
I always delete. If I do that, I delete it after the person, like my wife, has received it.
I don't think that matters.
That doesn't matter.
No.
But it makes me
Thanks
feel
for
better.
telling all the scammers out there.
Yeah. I'm just going to delete that text. It's gone.
Yeah, Cindy Johnson says it's called HIPAA. That's the patient privacy law, and it's important to people, and shame on you for downplaying it. I don't think we're downplaying HIPAA at all. I mean, that's what we're saying. There's a lot of concerns around, data privacy and health privacy. And I'm just saying personally, like, I'm more worried about, like, getting my bank account drained versus, I would think, hopefully, that this, if it ever came to fruition, some kind of document or app would just have your name. I mean, it may have to be linked to your social security number, which is a bigger concern in of itself, and like COVID vaccination, yes or no, or test negative or positive or whatever.
I see our friend Willie Huey is feeding into the fear, and the fear of being watched and followed.
What does he say?
He says, just remember, after you get your shot, lean into your microwave. Lean your arm up against your running microwave for 3 minutes to deactivate the microchip that they've placed in your arm along with the shot. Willie,
Bill
don't
Gates,
feed the
is that
fear,
our Bill
Willie.
Gates microchip? Right.
I thought we were supposed to pay for our groceries that way in the year 2021.
Probably.
Kind
I'm
of just
sure
roll up
it's
and
coming.
wave my wrist against the scanner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell you what, people have strong opinions, right?
Yeah,
We're
they
definitely
do.
on both sides of the fence, and it's pretty equal, the number of who's on what side. Yeah.
So if we end it right here, if we end this edition of Sunrise Extra right here, we can end with an even 50-50 split, Rod?
That's what my eyeball test says, yeah.
Does that ever happen?
No, I don't think it ever has. I think we can kind of make our mark here this morning. Our viewers stand exactly divided. And that's
Other
where we
people
walk
talking
away.
about like a sense.
Oh,
I'm
Nina!
Oh, Nina says no, we must continue on.
Bye-bye.
Oh. Okay, bye.
All those in favor of
Sorry,
saying goodbye,
Stephanie.
wave.
Sorry, Stephanie.
no,
I was
no,
going to
no.
read your comment. Nope.
Read it.
Read it.
Come on, we all want to hear Stephanie's
Come on, read
comment.
it. Yeah.
Stephanie Norgard says she's an essential worker, so I have to leave my house every day and go to work and daycare. And she was responding to Stanford, who, was talking about kind of. Never mind.
No.
I lost it.
No,
I
come on
lost it.
now.
I can't find it anymore.
Wait a
I'm
minute.
Sorry.
Wait a minute. This show was over, and then it was not over, but now it's over.
All right, goodbye.